ones who are cursed. We are the ones oppressed. We are simply the best. Nation of the nations, we're patiently waiting for Israel to wake up so that we can get back to ruling this earth. Yeah, they scared of us, and they scared of me.
If you looked at my bloodline, you would see I'm connected with God.
Christ ain't white or for all, he's only for his people. And if you ain't from his line, his word is gonna be lethal.
We won't look back, we won't back down, we won't give in to your sin. Your sin. We won't look back, we won't back down, we won't give in to your sinful ways. And I don't give a damn about what you say. We are the selves who's rejecting your win. We won't give in. We won't look back. We won't back down. We won't give in. We won't give in. We won't look back. We won't back down. We won't give in to your sin. To your sin.
Oh, so many mistakes I done made in my life. And these chains on my brain got me going insane. I got left cause I didn't know right. Don't do it for fortune and fame. For the Lord we enduring the pain. And I'll praise to the Father, he's showing us mercy. But you play with life like a game. But I blame myself for my downfalls. And I just been praying that you see the light whenever I'm around you. I hope that it's bright and shines in the night. I hope that you find yours. Focus and don't let your crown fall. Put my trust in the Lord throughout all. Lord's willing I'm found without flaw. Understand it. Anybody out there, I am stranded. And I'm damaged. Anybody out there, I am stranded. And I need help. So I lean on the scriptures and seek out the kingdom, the spiritual wealth. And nobody knows me the way that I know me. I'm working on self. That sinning is bad for my health. Thank the Lord that I'm part of the 12. Take a look at how far we have fell.
I like how we abandoned everything the Father done, can't understand it. How far we fallen, look where we landed. I'm praying that they let me go. I'm out here stranded, like cause the crazy things we do. Meditate on things that change my mood. Take it day by day, he's coming soon. Every day, gotta survive, I could die today. Lot on my mind, gotta meditate. But I'll be fine if I find a way. Cause I've been trying to get better, switch up my options. To get far away from where I've been. And dug to the hand, I ain't stopping. Out here it's too cold. I'm stranded, I'm all alone. I don't know anywhere else I could go. Cause I like how we abandoned everything the Father done, can't understand it. How far we fallen, look where we landed. I'm praying that they let me go. I'm out here stranded, like cause the crazy things we do. Meditate on things that change my mood. Take it day by day, he's coming soon. Lord, forgive me for the
Read it again.
It devoured and breaking pieces.
It had
It had great iron teeth.
It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
And it had 10 horns of the European Union or NATO. All right. So now we're talking about Rome, which this is talking about for us today. This is a future prophecy of Rome, with America being an extension. That Rome, nothing different. Rome, America, nothing different. All right. So read this. So now we're going to talk about ancient Rome, because what we just read dealing with the strong teeth. We're going to talk about the military today. We're going to talk about Rome, ancient Rome's military, and then we're going to bring it up to today with how America deals with their military. So read this.
Ancient Rome. The Romans built an empire of gigantic proportions. At its height, it encompassed nearly the entire European continent, as well as parts of the Middle East and Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The Roman Empire's tentacles.
Slow down.
The Roman Empire's tentacles stretched from England to Egypt, from Spain to Iraq, and from southern Russia to Morocco. More significantly, ancient Roman civilization thrived for nearly 1,000 years. The influence of the Romans over all those peoples over the span of time defies measure.
Defies measure. Hold up. It says the influence of the Romans over all of those peoples over that span of time defies measure, because Rome had influence, status, and they ran the entire Eastern world.
After adopting
Eastern Hemisphere. Go ahead. Nope. Verse. I said paragraph 4.
The Romans.
The Romans were particularly skilled in administration, organization, and engineering.
Organization, and engineering. So all those the buildings, the infrastructures, all that stuff, record keeping, Rome was very good with that. Go ahead.
They had a highly trained and disciplined military and an efficient bureaucracy.
An efficient bureaucracy or republic. Go ahead.
Without these,
which they took for Greek from Greece. Go ahead. When you read First Maccabees 8. Go ahead.
Without these qualities, the Romans would never have been able to manage their sprawling empire. They were not, however, as driven or original when it came to other intellectual pursuits.
So, because they took from Greece, which it's the same people. So, I mean, a lot of the gods that Rome had, they took those from Greece and they just gave them different names. Nothing different. America took those same gods, those same idols. They're not even God, they're idols. Right. America adopted those same idols. That's why your calendar is full of those idols. January, exactly. All right. Go to the next one. So Esau had a strong military. They were skilled in administration, organization, engineering. They had a, just like you have today, they had a Senate. Their bureaucracy is going into their politics, their political structure. Go to the next one, AV. Blow that up.
Okay. The Romans saw themselves as the legitimate rulers of the civilized world. This vast empire had been gained, Cicero wrote, only through just war.
Only through what?
Just war.
Through war. Through war. Through war. That's how Esau, the Romans, were able to conquer the entire planet Earth. Through war. Go ahead.
Our people, by defensive wars in support of its allies, has taken possession of the whole world.
Has taken possession of the whole world. Through what? Not through politics, not through voting. Through war.
Sheesh.
Through war. Go to the next one, AV. So I'm trying to get y'all's mind wrapped around how Esau deals, how ancient Rome dealt with the nations. You're gonna... I thought I had highlights on that. Maybe I didn't. Scroll down. Read. Dang. Yeah, what page is this? This is 31, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So when Rome said it was going to take over the nations, that mean they was ruling with that iron teeth. Right. They was straight ruling,
I was
taking
just
over
trying to make
everything,
sure
just
I
like
didn't
Alexander
above
the
that,
Greek
but
did.
yeah.
Right.
Oh no, yeah, it is above that. But the gift. Started but the gift. Nope. No. Right
Okay.
there towards the middle.
Got it. But the gift which
So
contributed.
now I'm sorry. So we're reading about Julius Caesar, the first of the 12 feathers or the 12 Caesars that you read about in 2nd Ezra 11 or 12. Help me out. 2nd Ezra 11, I believe.
12.
Okay, 2nd Ezra 12.
Mhm.
All right. Read this. So prior to and within Julius Caesar's rulership or his reign, because he took it over after his father died at a very young age. Julius Caesar was very young whenever he took over rulership, and it was still a republic or a at that time. He was about the people and wanting to fight for the people and whatever the people want, or whatever the case is. But then he got to a point where he wanted to be a dictator. He wanted to be a Caesar. He wanted to be numero uno, head honcho.
Got the feeling that power.
Yes, because you'll have some scholars, some books, articles, or whatever that'll say that he didn't want that power. He was all for the people, and that it was not an empire during his time. No. It started. Trust me, the republic started to come down, and it became an empire. Now and I'll get to that in a minute. With Augustus, his great nephew, great nephew. I think great nephew. But let's read some attributes of Julius Caesar, the first feather. But
the gift which contributed most largely to his success was an abnormally energetic ability to get things done. This was conspicuously apparent in the occupation of warfare, in which
slow down. This was
conspicuously apparent in
meaning it was obvious. Go ahead.
In the occupation of warfare.
In the occupation of warfare. Go ahead.
In which he excelled all his rivals.
Julius Caesar excelled all his rivals. He excelled all his rivals when it came to warfare. He loved it. He was built for it. That was his art, the art of war. He loved it. Go ahead.
Caesar was a most skillful swordsman and horseman and showed surprising powers of endurance. He always led his army, more often on foot than in a saddle, went bareheaded in the sun and rain alike.
There's no "the." Went bareheaded.
He went bareheaded in the sun.
They don't say he.
Went bareheaded in the sun and rain alike.
Went bareheaded in sun and rain alike, meaning he didn't have no helmet. Whenever they were going on whatever excursion they was going on, he had no headdress on. He had no helmet on. Went bareheaded in sun and rain alike. If he reached an unfordable river, he would either swim or propel himself across it on an inflated skin. And often arrived at his destination before the messengers whom he had sent ahead to announce his approach.
Sheesh.
He was very energetic when it came to war. When it was about war, he was about their life.
He was getting it in.
Go to the the next page. So that's just dealing with him, one of his conquests of Spain. Now, just read. Yeah, you're just going to read the highlighted part on this.
All right.
Okay.
His army was the most potent, effective, responsive martial instrument the world had ever seen.
The most potent. Mind you, remember what you read about Alexander the Greek when it said that what does it say in 1 Maccabees 1?
He says,
Yep.
all
was quiet. All was quiet about him. This says that under Julius Caesar, he was the most effective, potent, and responsive martial instrument the world had ever seen. Go ahead.
Its traditional talents were raised to a new red-hot capacity by its commander.
Meaning he brought the levels up. He leveled up warfare. Go ahead.
The weapons that his forefathers had placed in his hands, he exploited with incomparable skill.
The weapons that they already had, he what is it called? He perfected that. Go ahead.
and in a whole number of different specialist fields: camp building, armaments, tactics, intelligence, training methods.
Intelligence training methods.
Intelligence training methods and command structure.
Watch this.
He added numerous innovations of his own.
He started to invent stuff that had never been seen before in war.
As a
Because
general,
these Edomites, the so-called white men, they are built for war. They are built for war.
Right.
Go ahead.
As a general, he was versatile. He was as versatile as he was perilously incalculable. Not only a frightening military intellectual.
Meaning the way his mind moved, it says he was versatile and he was perilously incalculable. You could not calculate his next move.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of skill he had in war. Go ahead.
Not only a frightening military intellectual whose versatility posed a perpetual riddle to his opponents, but a man who was totally committed, determined, and indefatigable. I never heard that word.
Look it up on the back end, AV.
Indefatigable. But a man who was physically courageous beyond measure, and, in the words of the poet Lucan, thinking not done while aught remained to do. His manhood knew no rest, his only shame to lose a fight, keen and untamed, where hope or anger called.
So it sounds like, Cap, he was in shape, right? That's what that word probably means.
Yes, even though he didn't look like it necessarily, but yes, he was in shape. I can say a lot, but a lot of the seasons I've read about up to this point, they was all frail and looked like friggin', I don't even know.
Right. Look like Edomites.
Yeah, like friggin'
Fauci.
Skeletor.
Yeah, they look like
was
Fauci.
skinny as hell. They looked fragile as hell. Indefatigable of a person or their efforts persisting tirelessly. All right, so that's easy. Go back. Now go to the next page.
Can I bring a definition on that last one? So when you had mentioned he added, what y'all doing, baby? Y'all got it. Hold on, go back to the page we were just at. Zoom in for me. Where go back to where it said innovative intelligence. It said camp building, armaments, intelligence training methods. So when you look up the definition of that actually goes into the power of observation. So you think about reconnaissance today, how it translates about the satellites.
Right.
They watch everything you do, so on and so forth. So it's the same thing back here. I just wanted to bring that out.
So they had eyes everywhere. He had eyes everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Go to page. Okay, so now it said go to the page before so we can get the thought back.
Yeah, I'll read the poem again.
Yeah.
Thinking not done while aught remained to do. His manhood knew no rest, his only shame to lose a fight. Keen and untamed, where hope or anger called, he turned his hand, nor quelled to stain his sword, to make a path by havoc.
Hold on, because the AV's stuck. They just got to the second page. All right, just read that part.
He turned his hand, nor quelled to stain his sword. To make a path by havoc was his joy.
To make a path by havoc was his joy.
Right.
That's how much they loved war, death. To make a path by havoc was his joy. We're talking about the first Caesar.
He loved to raise hell.
So
he loved to raise hell.
That's my
literally.
Okay, I gotta bring something out. So in an army, that's what they teach you in the infantry. Violence of action is how you respond to everything.
Wait, say it again?
Violence of action is what we live by.
Violence of action.
Everything
is what
you
they
do,
live by.
you go with the most extreme you can do. It don't matter how small the matter is. You go with extreme force. So I just want to bring that out.
Damn.
Hey, and supporting that, right? That's a military tactic. But you know who else does that? Gangs in America.
Right.
The gangs that we know of called the mafia, the mafioso. Same way.
Oh yeah.
You hit us, or if we think you're gonna hit us, we're gonna come so extreme against you that you're gonna be afraid to hit against us. That you just
The drug cartels.
yeah, that's war tactic.
Make that example out of you.
Go to page 61. So we're going to look at the second Caesar, Augustus or Octavian.
So now you see why Rome ruled with the iron fist and took control over everything.
Mhm.
Started with that first Caesar.
Because they was doing stuff that had never been seen before.
Right.
Page 61. AB.
61. And most of the time, I mean, it's kind of like that in just a regular fight, right? Like one of the things I learned with a fight is it's really about who throws that first punch. And you throw that first hardest punch, that's what everybody gonna remember. And you'll shock half of the people, more than half of the people that you end up fighting if you throw the first punch.
Right. Go on, knock them out, get it over with. Make an example out of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Read that. So now I want y'all to remember from the first book. From the page before. Don't go to it, AV. From the page before, when it talked about how Caesar was inventive when it came to his military tactics. Read this. This is the second Caesar. This is Augustus Caesar's great grandnephew.
Although he must avoid looking like an autocrat, his authority, just like Caesar's, depended wholly upon the army.
His authority depended upon the military. Go ahead.
Which must therefore be adequately rewarded.
Rewarded or funded.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Moreover, it must be maintained at sufficient strength to defend the empire.
So all he was doing was maintaining what his great uncle started, which was a strong military.
Right.
So Augustus understood that in order for me to maintain the empire, because during Julius Caesar's reign, that was the decline of a republic and the rise of the empire of the Romans.
Right.
And they did it through war.
Right.
And Augustus understood, or Octavian understood, that in order for me to maintain that empire, I needed to fund the military. He was also very. He had a mind to make sure that he guarded himself because he didn't want to be killed like Julius was. Assassinated, essentially.
Right.
Yes, like Julius Caesar was. Right.
And so, Cap, how they maintain that military, they make all the other nations pay tribute.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they fund their military.
That's how they funded.
It's the next page.
It is okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Yeah, let's just go to it. We going fast because I got a lot to get through. So y'all just bear with me. Y'all just bear with me. All right. So this is, you're gonna start at Augustus. Go to the left column.
Augustus boasted that he had
Hold on. I don't even see it on there.
Okay. Scroll it up some. Yeah, it's gonna be on the left side, not the side that the highlight is on. On the left side. Yeah, right there in bold where it says Augustus.
Bring it out.
Augustus boasted that he had found Rome a city of.
This is the same. This is Augustus Caesar, the second feather of the 12 that we just read about in the book. I didn't even say what the book is called. The 12 Caesars that I pulled from a little bit ago. This is either Harper's or which one? Yeah, this is Harper's Bible Dictionary.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Augustus boasted that he had found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. Much of this building also sought to impress on spectators the religious foundations of the new imperial order.
The new imperial or the new empire. Go ahead.
Rome, it was said, owed its prosperity and worldwide rule to its piety.
Pull up the definition of piety on the back end. Go ahead.
The civil wars of the late republic had seen a decline in the state religion. Augustus restored some 82 ruined temples within the city of Rome.
That's just dealing with their idols and stuff. Go ahead.
The Temple of Mars, the Avenger, was a symbol of Roman supremacy over the world. It was constructed of marble from all over the empire.
It was the Temple of Mars, the Avenger was. Okay. Can you read that part again? Because they just took it off the screen.
The Temple of Mars, the Avenger, was a symbol of Roman supremacy over the world. It was constructed of marble from all over the empire. Colored marble came from Africa, Greece, and Asia Minor to complement the white Carrarica marble from Italy.
So you see, they were importing from other lands that they had conquered, and they were bringing in colored marble and other resources. Other resources.
Sounds familiar.
Because they were enshrining their supremacy over the whole world. They were building shrines of their supremacy in Rome.
Hey, Cap, real quick, if I may. The funny thing right here, we talked about the exploits of war that you were going into. It says the temple of Mars. When you look into Mars, the Roman deity is the god of war. So to your point about how the Augustus and Julius and them was all into war like that, they literally showing you, look, man, we love war so much, we finna put a throne up to worship this god of war, how we was able to whoop all y'all and take all y'all resources.
Yep, exactly. Scroll down. Hit the little down, just so we can see some synonyms. Piety, the quality of being religious or reverent, a belief or point of view that is accepted with unthinking, conventional reverence. They revered their idols.
Right.
They revered Mars, Jupiter. That's why when you read Acts and it talks about Jupiter and
they erected the temple. It's where they call Paul
Jupiter
and
yes.
Hercules.
What is it? Acts 16.
Yeah, read that real quick.
Yeah.
It's Acts 16. Acts
Is it
17.
Hermes. Was it Hermes?
Yeah, 16, 17. One of those two. No, they call Paul and Barnabas.
Jupiter and
Olympius. I believe it was Olympus. It's on the left page, left column.
Right.
Acts 17:22.
The book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 22. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious.
Go ahead.
For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him, declare I unto you.
Declare I unto you. So you see they was heavy into idolatry. They started to worship an unknown God, but they was talking about the Most High Christ. Jump to verse. Y'all ain't found it yet.
You're looking for 14 and 12, right?
Okay, read that.
Paul, okay. Acts chapter 14 and verse 12. And they called Barnabas and Jupiter,
Yes.
and Paul Mercurius, because he was the chief speaker.
Yes. Jupiter, it says, and they called Barnabas, Jupiter, and Paul Mercurius because he was the chief speaker. So you see they was heavy into idolatry in Rome. That's why Paul had to deal with that so much in a multitude of his letters, all his letters. All right, jump. Okay, what's next? Go to the highlighted part. The same page, just go to the highlighted part.
Persons from all over the empire with their different languages, customs, and gods could be found in the streets of Rome.
Could be found in the streets of Rome. Could be found in the streets of Rome. Persons from all over the empire with their various languages, customs, and gods. What does that sound like?
A melting pot.
That sounds like a great melting pot.
Right.
Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. Go from there. Go from there. All right. It's 7:58. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to take a little breath. I'm going to get me a little drink. And we're going to be back in a minute because we're going to show the parallels. Now we got to show the parallels.
That's right.
Between ancient Rome, the great melting pot, and America, a.k.a. Rome today. All right? So Lord's will, we'll see y'all back here in a minute. Y'all tune in the scripts.
Reloaded.
We got the records showing that there were black images all over Spain, all over Europe. Okay, why? Because the Christians over there at that time, they were all black.
Being a Christian, you are the following of Christ. You keeping the Passover, New Moon, Sabbath, all that make a big difference. In Christianity, they keep none of what the Bible says.
The Jews have always been black. So the true early Christians maintained faith in Christ along with Jewish law.
It is very important for us to come out of what we don't belong in and come back to what God actually made.
Brothers, sisters, let's all of us come out of the Christian church now.
It looks more like a military group than anything else, but I'll read what they have.
You said something about it looked like something.
An army.
What make you say that?
Because look, it's like military style.
Why do you support Kyrie?
I'm pretty impressed. I heard it from about a mile away, so I had to come over.
Okay.
How many men?
Uncle was there where you left. Your auntie was there where you left. Cousin was there where you left. Brother was there where you left. Sister was there where you left. Father, your mother, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your brother, your sister was there where you left. 12 tribes! 12 tribes! 12 tribes!
There's something that was said that has never been done or seen before. Unity of our people. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. Is that right, brothers? We are the Israelites the Bible speaks of, and we will not apologize. We're going to teach this truth come hell or high water. Christ said the gates of hell shall not prevail against us. I want everybody to understand that. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 3, the Lord said, endeavor to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Let's hear it. Unity! 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 And we will not ever bow the knee or apologize. So at that, brothers, who's the king? Christ. Who's the king? Christ. Who's the king? Christ. 12 tribes! 12 tribes! 12 tribes! 12 tribes! 12 tribes! Unity! 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 Who's the king? Christ. Who's the king? Christ. Who's the king? Christ.
Is this the problem you face when it's time to go over the Bible? Have you been searching for a fun way to bring the Bible to the classroom? Well, look no further. IUIC Boom Cards has you covered. The perfect solution to keep your children edified and occupied during the Sabbath and throughout the week. These decks provide exciting and interactive ways to learn that are sure to grab your child's attention. Now loaded with decks teaching the High Holy Days, the Commandments, and much more. Your child will love learning the Bible with IUIC Boom Cards. Order your deck today at www.boomlearning.com/author/IUIC.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Most High Christ bless. It's Captain Lemuel. Y'all are tuned in the scripts.
Reloaded.
Okay. All right. Now. We're going to bring it up. We're going to bring it up to today. But we're going to read Daniel chapter 2 verse first. Let's read Daniel chapter 2. Let's go through a few scriptures to kind of, let's settle our mind a little bit. Let's wrap our mind around what we just read, the attributes that we just read about from Rome. We talk about ancient Rome. We just dealt with ancient Rome. They were a military force in the earth. They were innovative when it came to war. They understood that you had to fund the military. All right. Read that. Daniel chapter 2, verse 41.
The book of
verse
Daniel.
40, I'm sorry.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Shall it break in pieces or conquer the other nations and bruise. Go ahead. This is still talking about America's military. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it the strength of the iron.
Even though they have the EU or the European Union, United Europeans, United white folks, it says what? Read the part. It says the kingdom what?
The kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron.
Of the strength of the military, because they got their politics here. They're divided amongst republicanism and Democrats and Republicans. We want to go left. We want to go right. Let's say it's two different wings on the same bird.
Right.
Go ahead.
For as much as
with their military, they're united. When it comes to that military, when it comes to conquering the other nations, when it comes to stealing resources, are they united on that? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
That's that great melting pot. Just like in ancient Rome, where you had all languages, all religions that converged on Rome, just like you got in America, as it was prophesied in America today, because America is an extension of Rome. America has taken all the attributes of all the other major captivities. That's what we just read in Revelation 13. Go ahead.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
They're strong because of their military, but they're broken because all nations, all religions are here. That political system, the Democrats and Republicans, a house divided cannot stand at all. Come on.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. Even as
you're not gonna mix, even though you got all nations here, you're not gonna mix. Go ahead.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay. You're gonna hold that, because we're gonna come back to verse 44.
Okay.
But let's start here. Let's start with this video. So, yeah, about a month ago, some of y'all, this might have went past y'all, went over y'all head. Y'all was like, whatever, nuclear fusion, whatever. But there's a breakthrough with nuclear fission. Fusion is where you bind all the is where you start splitting atoms. Fission is where you start to compress or push together those atoms. Yeah, I'm black.
I got you.
I'm
I
black.
understand.
So
like a magnet or something.
Yes,
like a magnet.
yes, yes. But the reason why it was such a struggle is because those atoms, they don't bond well. They split, but they're like the same ends of a magnet. So they're always trying to repel. So for the longest, it took more energy to try to push those, I'm gonna say, magnets together than it is to break them up. So now they've gotten to the point where it took less energy to push them together by using lasers. Y'all can say I've researched a little bit.
I actually understand you, Cap. I
You
actually
do? All
understand
praise to the Most High.
Praise.
Using lasers, they put in some kind of other pressure. They actually use less pressure and less energy to push them together and bind them together than in times past. All right. So now let's see what this Edomite says about this breakthrough in nuclear fusion and national security implications.
Immediately, this achievement will advance our national security in at least 3 ways. First, it will lead to laboratory experiments that help NNSA defense programs continue to maintain confidence in our deterrent without nuclear explosive testing. Second, it underpins...
Hold on. Go back, play it again.
Right, that threw me. Without...
I'm gonna help y'all out.
So they're going to test nuclear weapons without nuclear weapon testing?
Bruh. You forget who you talking to. Wait a minute. Who you talking about? Play it again.
More immediately, this achievement will advance our national security in at least 3 ways. First, it will lead to laboratory experiments that help NNSA defense programs continue to maintain confidence in our deterrent without nuclear explosive testing.
They will not have to test nukes as they have in the past with with this new breakthrough. Go ahead, as you said. Go ahead.
Second, it underpins the credibility of our deterrent by demonstrating world-leading expertise.
Stop.
In
He said America has world-leading expertise with this nuclear breakthrough. So they have just continue to solidify themselves as the dominant force when it comes to military exercises, military exploits, military expertise.
The hell is this? Innovation.
And innovation. That's actually the word I was looking for. I made up all other stuff. Innovation is the word I was looking for. Play on.
Weapons relevant technologies.
Go back a couple of seconds so we gather a thought.
It underpins the credibility of our deterrent by demonstrating world-leading expertise in weapons relevant technologies. That is, we know what we're doing.
That's their pride. Just so y'all know, that's their pride in their heart. Go ahead. Was that it? Was that it? I guess that was it.
Yeah, I think that was the timestamp.
All right. Now go to the PBS article. Go to the PBS article. So now I want to show y'all a timeline. Go back to Revelation 13. I'm sorry. Get Daniel 12:4 first, and then we'll get Revelation 13. I want to show y'all a technology timeline. Esau's technology timeline. Read that first.
The book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Knowledge shall be increased. Knowledge would be increased. What knowledge? Science. Technology. Nuclear advancements. Knowledge would increase in the last days. So we're going to go through this timeline to show knowledge increasing as it's prophesied. Go to 1938. So hold up. So you see the first submarine, 1776. Now go down to 1939. Y'all can look up the rest on your own. This is PBS technology timeline. Somewhere around here. Scroll down a little bit. Slow down. Yeah, 1942. That's what I wanted. 1942. Read that. 1942 and 1945.
I got you. 1942, atomic reaction. A team working under Italian refugee Enrico Fermi at the University of Chicago produces the first controlled, self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. This experiment and others will result in the development of the atomic bomb.
So the atom bomb was first starting to be developed in 1942. Now let's see what happened 3 years later.
1945, atomic bomb. A team lead led by J.R. Oppenheimer, Arthur H. Compton, Enrico Fermi, and Leo Szilard detonates the first atomic bomb at the Los Alamos lab near Santa Fe, New Mexico.
These are all demons. Go ahead.
Following the test.
So after the test, remember that Edomite said that they're not going to have to test nukes. They used to have to test this nuclear technology. He said with this new technology, you ain't even got to do that no more. Go ahead.
Following the test, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, one in Hiroshima and one at Nagasaki, that claimed more than 100,000 lives.
That's why you saw in Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40, it said, with this fourth beast, they would be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. After this, all nations, they wasn't messing with America like that. They was like, oh shoot, they done come up with nuclear technology and they done dropped these bombs 3 years later. Because now you'll see some videos where they're saying, it's gonna take years, it's gonna take another 70, 100 years to produce to innovate this nuclear fission to the point where it's usable? BS. Because when they first started dealing with nuclear technology, it only took them 3 years to drop 2 bombs.
Right.
3 years. Keep scrolling down, but go slow because I don't remember the other date. But go a little bit fast because I can't read. We want nuclear submarine, 1955.
Right
10 years later, after they dropped those 2 nukes, 10 years later, read that.
1955, nuclear submarine. The Nautilus, the Nautilus, the first nuclear submarine.
1776, they created the first submarine. 10 years later, after they created the first nuclear missiles, they created the first nuclear submarine. Go ahead. Revolutionizing
naval warfare.
Warfare. They all about war. They're all about breaking in pieces. They're all about that strengthening the iron, strengthening the military. Just like ancient Rome, they were always innovative with their warfare. Go ahead.
Conventional submarines need 2 engines, a diesel engine to travel on the surface and an electric engine to travel submerged, where oxygen for a diesel engine is not available. The Nautilus, the first nuclear sub, can travel many thousands of miles below the surface with a single fuel charge.
Thousands of miles on a single charge.
Sheesh.
Y'all got something? I'm gonna look for something real quick.
Nah, but that shows that event, and it goes back to what was coming out in the beginning when it came to Julius Caesar, right? That he was innovative, that he was untiring, and this right here is showing that they're untiring in their pursuit of advancing the technology, based on the knowledge that they have. I mean, you go from 1942 to 3 years later. Now you put so 1942, you just now really starting to deal with it. 3 years later, you're putting it on in a bomb and dropping it on somebody. 10 years later, you putting it in the water, and one single cell, takes you. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, another thing too about the art of war. To this point that you brought out about them not having to test these things anymore. If you think about it, it's really a crafty counsel that's being done because it doesn't show the enemy the power they have.
Right.
So now the enemy can't see, or I'll say opposing nations can't see what the effects of this bomb may be to begin to build up defense mechanisms or build up, counterattacks or things like that.
Right.
Things to fight against it. They're like, we're not even showing y'all. We're not even testing it or nothing. So when we drop this joint on you, y'all not gonna know what to do.
Right.
Hey, it's kind of how whenever you deal with when nations are talking about how many nukes they have, the stockpile and so forth, it's kind of in the same realm. There's nobody going to tell you exactly how many they have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So think about it. Babylon they might say they have 100, but yet they've been building these things 20 years ago that they've been stockpiling nuclear bombs. You know what I'm saying?
He was even careful enough to tell you what it was. You don't even know if it's a bomb he's talking about.
Exactly.
Right.
They might have some stuff come out of space.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Go to now. Go to Revelation 13. Revelation chapter 13. Just read on. Where was you at last? Read verse 2 because I want to show you something.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth was as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
The dragon is Satan. Satan gave Esau the power to create nuclear missiles, nuclear submarine, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission. There's a show called Strange Angel. Strange Angel.
Yep.
Strange Angel.
Yeah.
That I just started watching like a week ago, something like that. And within that show, it shows you that when they went up to the moon, I forget the dude's name off the top of my head. Go to 1969.
I can't think of his name. I remember Elder Athon, he warned against that show. He said, if you go past that first season, you on your own.
Right.
He said, don't watch it past the first season because you're going to get into some deep. He's like, I couldn't go past the first season. Let it go after that first season.
Yeah, because they got all kind of, they doing all kind of seances and they drinking blood and all of that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy as hell. But, for how you see how Satan is dealing with them. That's the scriptural part that you see.
Right.
Okay, so 19, scroll up a little bit. That way. Yeah. Let me just see something real quick. Okay, all right, you can drop that. Revelate, where's you at? So what y'all are seeing, these are for all intents and purposes, these are spiritual weapons that y'all seeing. Because who the hell's splitting atoms?
Right.
Splitting molecules. And you're not doing it on the strength of let's make the planet better.
Right.
You doing it on the strength of let me show my military might. Let me show my dominance throughout the entire earth. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're destroying the earth in the process.
Right. It reminds me of Janus and the other one that was in Egypt. You remember when God told Moses to go in there and put your staff down? God said, okay, I'm going to show you something. Right. Bam, they did it. Well, it was the pride of Egypt that made them throw their staffs down, but the staff of Moses gobbled theirs up.
Right.
So they always have to show themselves as God per the scriptures, right? They've got to show, we can do that too.
Right.
So whereas Elijah could call fire from the sky, now they saying, well, we can call fire from the sky too.
Right.
And that's what it looks like. But this is Egypt again.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Read on.
And verse 2.
No. Yeah. You already read it. Verse 3.
Okay. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all
Rome was taken down 193 AD, and they came back into power. Go ahead.
And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
And they worshipped Satan, who gave them the power to create nuclear submarines, nuclear missiles, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, to get up to the moon.
And
don't think that Jake had something to do with us getting to the moon. We had credit for them landing.
Yeah.
For them landing, not for them getting up there. The scripture says that they would make their nest amongst the stars. Satan gave them the power to get up there. They used us to come back down, to land. Go ahead.
And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast?
Who is like unto Esau, Edom, Idumea, Rome, America? Go ahead.
Who is able to make war with him?
Who is able to make war with these people? That's splitting atoms that you can't even see.
Right.
Who the hell's making war with these people when they're doing the impossible, so-called impossible, and they splitting them and putting them back together.
Right.
To the point where they don't even have to test the nuclear capabilities no more. They just know it worked. Satan is on our side. We just know it worked. Don't worry about it.
We know what we're doing.
He said we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have solidified our seat. Or at least they think. The pride of their heart, they think that they've solidified their seat.
Hey, Cap, that's like Steph Curry shooting a jump shot and then turning around before it hit.
Right.
Because he just
knows
that confident.
Right.
He know
Exactly.
It hit.
Exactly. That's the pride of their heart has deceived them. That's why when Christ said he's not going to meet them as a man, what nation is going to come behind nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, and all that? They always going to be 10 steps ahead when Satan's dealing with them.
Right.
So Christ said, I'm not going to meet them as a man because they're dealing with an angel. An angel gave them the power to do what they're doing in the earth right now. So I got to come back and deal with them. Damn. Read on.
Verse 5. Verse 5.
I just wanted the part who can make war with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go to now. Now pull up the next one.
Yeah, this is interesting here.
All right. Countries with the highest military spending worldwide 2021. What's the first country on there?
United States.
The United friggin' States of America. Babylon the Great. The first country on there that spends the most. Remember, just like in ancient Rome, Augustus Caesar, he was all about military spending because he understood that in order for me to maintain my dominance in the world, I got to spend on the military. So America is the top spenders when it comes to military. Scroll down. Scroll down. I mean, just let's get to the no. Just scroll down so we can get to the article.
It looks like something you have to expand.
Yeah, click. Didn't expand on it. Click read more. Read that.
Worldwide leaders in military spending. The United States led the rankings of countries with highest military spending in 2021.
And that ain't changed because they funding Ukraine. We broke over here. I'm broke right now.
Man, they don't care about you.
I don't need a Billy.
Right.
You send me $200 with a stimmy and I'm good. 2,000.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
Shema, I know you look broke. I know you proud of you.
Hey, officer, you right. I feel so broke.
Okay.
They don't care about us. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. I'm gonna bring it out.
So, listen, y'all sending all that money to Ukraine. Keep a couple dollars here.
Right.
I will take another stimmy. Go ahead.
I'm ready to begin. The United States led the rankings of countries with highest military spending in 2021, with $801 billion dedicated to the military.
$801 billion dedicated to the military. Dedicated to the military. Go ahead.
That constituted 38% of the total military spending worldwide that year, which amounted to $2.1 trillion.
Wait, read that part again.
Which amounted to $2.1 trillion. As of 2019, the United States military expenditure amounted to 3.4% of the U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, placing the U.S. lower in the ranking of military expenditure as a percentage of GDP than Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Russia.
That don't mean nothing. America prints their own money, so they're spending according to what they print.
I was gonna say that because I work in finance and economics, and I know that last statement right there is deceiving to people because they'll try to say, "Oh, it's less of a military expenditure than Saudi Arabia." Whatever. The reason why, based on percentage, is because the United States GDP is so enormously bigger than those other countries. So you can try to say, "Oh, by percentage it's less," but we just read they spend 40% of the world military spending. This is the superpower on the earth that's destroying the world with their military exploits. So you can't be caught up in those little trick statements they try to throw out to you.
Right. So in other words, figures don't lie, but lies figure.
There you go. There you go.
There you go with another one of his problems.
You see how slick that was? That's their slick.
Seesaw.
Defense budget.
Okay. Defense budget. According to the U.S. Congressional Budget Office, the outlays for defense will raise from a low of $596 billion in 2014 to $915 billion by 2031. The largest parts of the budget are dedicated to the departments of the Navy and the Air Force.
The Navy and the Air Force. The sea and space. Go ahead.
Between 2013 and 2022, it is projected that the United States will spend $392 billion on nuclear weapons.
On nuclear weapons. Go ahead.
$97 billion on missile defenses, and $100 billion on environmental and health costs.
Well, we jacking the planet up. Let's throw them a couple of dollars, so they can, because we killing the soldiers too with all the bombs we dropping. Because people got to actually be over there.
Right.
So yeah, we'll help them out a little bit.
Free
now
vaccine.
Go to the next video. The lasers. I'm gonna show y'all what y'all dollars is going to, what they printing all this money for. I don't know if I had a timestamp on this.
Yes, it's from start to 103.
Okay. So the U.S. Air Force admitted they've created something so advanced that it will destroy everything. Dang. Now, keep in mind, if this is on YouTube, we don't really know what they got.
Right.
This is just what is on YouTube. We don't know what they got that's pointed up in space. We don't know what they got in the sea. We can only imagine. Go ahead.
As one of the world's leading military forces, the US Air Force has always been at the forefront of innovation and technology. From the first powered flight in 1903 to the development of modern aircraft and drones, the Air Force has consistently pushed the boundaries of what is possible in aviation. And its most recent invention is no different. The US Air Force has admitted to creating something so advanced that it will destroy everything. So join us as we unravel this latest and sophisticated creation of the US Air Force, whose super advanced capabilities will no doubt send shivers down your spine. You see, while tactical ultra-short pulsed lasers have a rich history dating back to the 1970s, the US Air Force has now successfully transformed this technology into a revolutionary and highly versatile weapon system that can be integrated into a variety of different military platforms. This newly improved laser technology has a huge potential to greatly enhance the capabilities of Army platforms.
Can I say
it's
something?
already making.
You know how absolute of a statement that is for them to say, this is so advanced that this weapon would destroy everything.
Ain't no way, boy.
Hey, that right there is just a hardcore statement. You know what I mean? And that was that cockiness that we saw in the man with that wet mouth. He kept on smacking his lips. That was that confidence that he exhibited right there.
Right.
He know that they got this type of weaponry out there.
He said, "We know what we're doing."
Yeah. Oh, wet mouth. Hey, can I get one scripture?
Yeah.
Now you brought up a beautiful progression of time and the progression of Esau's weaponry. Let me get the prophecy on that in Genesis 27:38. Because Jacob knew this thing from the beginning. Watch this.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 38.
Isaac knew this thing. Go ahead.
And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father.
Read.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above.
So you're going to have all the money to do wherever you want, live wherever you want. You're going to live off the fatness of the land. Read.
And by thy sword.
And by thy what?
Thy sword shalt thou live.
You're going to have all the nukes. You're going to have the stuff that ain't came out yet. You're going to have the 2030 stuff. You know? Right. So that's this next stuff that Esau's on right here. And it was prophesied from the beginning that he would have this type of weaponry in the last days.
All praise.
Yep. Go to Isaiah chapter 14. We finished. Yeah, we've play the last couple of seconds on this video.
Potential to greatly enhance the capabilities of Army platforms, and it's already making waves in the defense industry. In terms of its development,
the two biggest budgets was the Navy and the Air Force. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb.
I'm sorry, start at verse 3.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
Shall give Israel rest from our sorrows.
And from thy fear. And from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
And from captivity. Go ahead.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
This is talking about America.
And say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Ceased from rulership. Ceased from conquering the planet Earth. Go ahead.
The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
And the scepter or the powers of the rulers. Christ is going to do that. Come on.
He who smote the people in continual wrath with a continual He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted. And
slow down, so you're going real fast.
Okay. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
With a continual stroke. Continual stroke. Lord have mercy. They continually dropping bombs in other countries. scared to ask Av to pull something.
They got you.
Don't worry about
They
it.
got your back.
I
Man.
think they got you. They've been all right. Yeah, they've been all right.
Okay. Just read on. I want to go through the scriptures. Yeah. Just note, when y'all get a chance, y'all can Google all the different nations from Obama's time to Bush's time to up to now, all the different nations that have America is dropping bombs in.
Right.
It says, who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. They continually steal resources from the people.
Right.
They got right now in the Congo. Right now, you got what was it? I think it was like 10,000 plus people, 15,000 plus people. Israel in a mine.
Right.
Pulling out resources for your phone batteries.
Right.
For your EV, your electric vehicles.
That cobalt.
Right.
Go ahead.
He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
And nobody's gonna stop Christ and the angels from destroying America. Wow. Come on.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea.
Hold up. Jump to verse 12.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?
Which didst weaken the nations. It's talking about America. Go ahead.
For thou hast said...
hold up. Hold that, because back in Isaiah 14, I had to find it. It said, verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 23. Read it out. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour
shall conquer what?
The whole earth.
The whole earth. Not just the Western Hemisphere, not just one or two countries in the East. Shall what?
Devour the whole earth.
Shall devour and conquer and make afraid the entire earth. Go ahead.
And
that's why amongst the EU, they became the top nation. They became the ruling power. They became the dominant force. It was supposed to be a European Union.
Right.
That's what it was supposed to be. What the hell?
Right.
But you had one nation, the youngest nation amongst all those nations, to become the top, to rule all the other nations in great anger and wrath. Go ahead.
And shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
And shall tread it down and break it in pieces. How? Through war. Through the military. How do we know? Because they spend the most. America spends the most on their military.
Right.
They spend the most on their air defense. They spend the most on their Navy.
Right. America, if I'm not mistaken, is the military branch of the of NATO, right? Or of the EU, or I mean of NATO. They're the military. What do they call them? The guard dog, or they're the dog. Basically, that's who they. America is the one that comes to get you. Europe deals with the money, but America deals with the war.
Exactly. NATO is the military branch of the EU. Yes.
The military, yes.
Yes, sir. Go back to Isaiah 14.
We were at verse 13.
Yeah, verse 13. So verse 12 said, Lucifer, the son of how art thou fallen? That's going back up to verse 4 when it said the golden city ceased from what? Rulership. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven? That heaven is talking about rulership. O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, or devour the nations, like we just read in Daniel 7, and conquer the whole planet Earth. Go ahead.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
1969.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
I'm going to put the children of Israel in slavery where?
In the sides of the north.
In North America. Go ahead. All right, I can't read. For time's sake, all right, let's go back now. Let's go to the next book. Go to the next book. This is The Peril of the Republic by Percy T. Magan. Or Magan, I don't know. Go to the next. Thank you. Blow that up.
That's an old one from 1899.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go to the next page. So we got a lot of reading to get through this. We're going to speed read through mostly. All you're going to read is the highlighted parts.
All right. There we go. Which page is it? Page 23. No man can vindicate?
Mm-hmm.
Vindicate the character, motives, and conduct of the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
So now we're going to go back a little bit. So y'all see I'm taking y'all through time. We went from ancient Rome. We brought it up to America's military all the way up to 2023 with their various military innovations.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go back to the beginning. All right? Go ahead.
Except upon the hypothesis that they refer to the white race alone and not to the African.
Yeah, that Declaration of Independence was for white folks.
Right.
It was not for black people.
And it says all, but nobody gets confused.
Mm-mm.
They know that's not for all men.
Only black people are confused by that.
Right.
The only people that are confused by that is black people. Go ahead.
When they declared all men to have been created equal.
How the hell we all created equal when you got one in servitude? When you got one people in bondage?
In slavery,
it's one race in the field. Right. Everybody else in the big house.
Right.
The hell? Black people can't be that crazy.
Right.
Go ahead.
When they have declared all men to have been created equal, that they were speaking of British subjects on this continent being equal to British subjects born and residing in Great Britain, that they were entitled to the same unalienable rights, and among them were enumerated life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That was for white people. Damn. That was for the white folks that seceded from Great Britain and said, we're going to do our own thing. That's why you got New York, New Hampshire, give me the other one.
New England.
New Jersey, New England.
Mm-hmm.
They were starting over new.
Boston.
That didn't have nothing to do with black people.
Right.
Y'all was still niggas and slaves. Go ahead. Just the highlighted parts.
Rome became imperial because she was unable or unwilling to extend the privileges of her constitution to the nations which she conquered.
Because we read in another book, I forget which one it was, but we read it last week, the week before that Rome was full of slaves, as America is today. So those inalienable rights was not extended to the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you had bondmen and those that was freeborn. You had those that had rights. White folks had rights, just like they do today.
Right.
Black people have the appearance of rights. We'll let you walk. We'll let you walk free.
Right.
Give you the appearance of freedom, the appearance of privilege, but you don't really got that.
That's right. Where's the bomb at, AV? Y'all sleeping up there, man. Y'all sleep.
They just trying to make sure they don't jack nothing up.
Read on. This was the cause of her imperialism. The result to the Roman people themselves was that their own liberties perished.
So prior to and in the midst of, again, Julius Caesar's reign, it was a republic. He was for the people. They was still doing what they still had their Senate. They was doing votes, whatever the case is. During the latter end of his reign, when he was murdered, that was the decline of the republic and the rise of the empire. That's why America today is an empire state. Go ahead. They give you the illusion of privilege and freedom. Y'all ain't got no damn freedom of speech.
Right.
That's why they got this stuff now where people is getting canceled off of social media.
Right.
You can get your account shut down. Y'all ain't got no freedom. Y'all ain't got no freedom of speech.
Right.
So my vote don't count?
Hell no, your vote don't count. Never did it. They got an electoral college for that. They put in who they want to put in.
That's right.
Go ahead.
in refusing the privileges of her constitution to the peoples whom she had conquered. Rome denied a fundamental law of her own government, and nothing else could logically follow but ruin of her government.
Because she had two horns like a lamb, but spake. Read that real quick.
Daniel said two horns of a lamb.
Nope. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast.
America.
Coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb.
He was a republic because they had democracy and republicanism. They had politics, voting rights and all that.
And he spake as a dragon.
And that lamb is dealing with your Christianity. And what?
And he spake as a dragon.
But they had secret plots. They only gave you the illusion of freedom, but you're gonna do what we tell you to do. You're gonna do whatever, you're gonna take the jab. I don't know what you think this is. You're gonna take the jab.
Right.
You want to be in my military, you're gonna get jabbed up. Up until like a week or two ago, where they ended up doing away with that specific mandate. But guess what? The fact that they had the power to mandate you to put an experimental drug in your arm,
right,
in your system, and you think you free.
Right. You see other people dying of heart
dropping
attacks.
Dead. That on Telegram and in other places they call it died suddenly.
Yeah. Yep. You saw that little kid that died in during gym class?
Yep. He dropped dead on his face.
Sheesh.
You had the brother, Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin. Same thing.
Presley.
Yeah, she just died of cardiac arrest.
The hell is this?
Go ahead.
And nothing else could logically follow but ruin of her government, of her constitution. That is, the ruin of the Republic of Rome.
The ruin of the Republic of Rome. Go ahead.
Today, the Republic of the United States.
Guess what? In 1899, they have Rome and ancient Rome and the United States in the same paragraphs, in the same sentences, in the same pages. Go ahead. Because they understood something. The elites understood something. Go ahead.
Today, the Republic of the United States is coursing over the same track to the same goal.
The same goal. Decline of the Republic, incline, or the rise of the empire. Go ahead.
But when the tape at the end of the track is reached, the deadline of Republican life will have been passed. The nation is riding for a fall, just as certainly as did ancient Rome, that other great republic of the West.
They already understood that it was certain. Hold up. Don't go past that, AV. The nation is riding for a fall, just as certainly as did ancient Rome. Right. Because there's nothing new under the sun. Every great empire had its rise and had what? Its fall. Every great empire, with the exception of one that we're going to read in a minute. It said, just as ancient Rome, that other great republic of the West. Next page.
Next page. The things which have come to pass. Oh, my bad.
Hold up. They stuck. Yeah.
There we go. The things which have come to pass and which are written out in this book, both those concerning Rome and the United States, have also been written long before in the prophecies of the book of books on the sacred leaves of the Holy Scriptures.
Because they already understood that America is an extension of Rome. America is Rome regenerated. Rome today runs the earth. The Catholic Church runs the earth. Right? Runs the planet Earth. America is an extension.
Hey,
they understood that in 1899.
Real quick, I was just going to say that shows that the minds of our people in modern day Christianity is all off kilter, because even the scholars is telling you that the prophecy of America being destroyed is in the scriptures.
Yes.
But these modern pastors and Christians say God bless America and America endure forever and things like they pray for the prosperity of America. But if you understood the scriptures, you would know it's prophesied it's going to fall.
Exactly. Read next page.
Next page. All right. Yep, here we go. In the case of these cities, The limit of God's forbearance had been reached. The hour of their probation had closed. It was useless to give their inhabitants a further opportunity for salvation. They had sinned away their day of grace and were given over to wickedness.
We're gonna hold this page. Go to Daniel 2. We are going to have to only got a couple of minutes left. And then I want the officers to give some closing remarks on what we've touched on up to this point. Go back to Daniel chapter 2. I told y'all we was going back here. Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. So remember the verses above, we're talking about a strong military. We're talking about a great melting pot. That is America. Verse 44.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings,
these U.S. presidents, your Putins, go ahead.
Shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom?
Shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom? Remember, we're reading about the kingdoms before that. America being the last kingdom. So it said the kingdom that we're reading, this fourth kingdom, shall be strong. It's talking about America. Verse 44 says, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. As we talk right now, a kingdom is being established.
Right.
A kingdom is being built. Go ahead.
Which shall
all these brothers that you see right here, all the brothers that you see on the side are in the midst of establishing a kingdom, rebuilding a kingdom, bringing the kingdom to heaven on earth.
That's right.
Bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth. Go ahead.
Which shall never be destroyed.
Which shall never what?
Be destroyed.
Because all these heathen kingdoms before fell. But this earth was promised to the children of Israel.
Yes.
And the Most High said it will never fall. It will never be destroyed. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
It will not be left to Gentiles, other nations, heathens, Edomites. Go ahead.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
And it shall stand for what?
Forever.
When it says, and consume all these kingdoms, as we talk right now, we're consuming this kingdom with the spirit of God's mouth.
That's right.
2 Thessalonians 2. We are consuming this kingdom with the spirit of God's mouth. Read that real quick. 2 and 8.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 8. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
With this Bible, the wicked is being revealed. We showing you. Esau know they the damn wicked. The hell?
Right.
But TD Jakes don't know who the wicked is?
Right.
Nah, can't be. Can't be.
Right.
And y'all know TD Jakes watch us. Right. Just so y'all know. TD Jakes, what's the other guy in Atlanta?
Creflo.
These cats, they watch us. They watch us.
Hi.
I'm telling you right now. Go ahead. Was that it? I just want verse 8.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
And shall be in America and all these other Edomite nations are going to be destroyed when Christ returns.
That's right.
All these nations that turn to fight against the Messiah, they're going to be destroyed. Because God's kingdom has to be established on earth. And it will be established forever.
Right.
Forever, ever? Forever, ever.
That's
forever.
Right. That's right.
Go back to Daniel 2.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out
Christ was what?
Was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold.
The military and all these heathens. Go ahead.
The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain.
The dream is what?
Certain.
The dream is certain.
And the interpretation thereof sure.
Because it's written, so shall it be written, so shall it be done.
Right.
So shall it be done. All these Edomite inventions and all this other stuff dealing with their military, it's not going to stand against Christ.
That's right.
And the angels. We read a scripture. I was talking to the brothers 2 weeks ago, and we was reading about, I think, Daniel 7 when it said the multitude. I'm paraphrasing. We don't got to get it for time's sake, but it talked about the multitude of angels that was around the throne. In Psalms, it talks about the thousands of thousands. If you multiply 1,000 times 1,000, I forget what the number was, but it was something like 1,000,000.
It was an
like
incredible number.
It was some crazy number. What we read in Daniel, it was something like 20 million or something like that. Angels. Come on now. Angels stand in the sun. What are you talking about?
Right.
You think some lasers is going to stand against the Most Christ and the angels? You got to be out your mind.
Right.
You're crazy. Insane in the membrane.
But they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they say they know what they're doing, but that's their pride.
Yeah.
That is their pride. All right, so all praise to the Most High. We only got a couple of minutes, officers. Closing remarks.
We don't have time to read the scripture, but I'm going to paraphrase it. It's high time. All right, it's high time to wake out of sleep. Our salvation is near, Israel. Salvation is near.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
All praise to the Most High. So, like I said, over the next couple of shows, we're going to deal with sexploitation in Rome, which they got from the Greeks. The Greeks is nasty as hell. Edomite Greeks.
Nice.
Romans, nasty as hell.
Right.
America, and remember, America is a cage of every unclean spirit.
Right.
So all the stuff that we're going to read about from ancient Rome, you multiply that times 100 or whatever number you want to multiply it.
Right.
And that's what you're going to see here in America. When the scripture says America's like Sodom and Gomorrah, man.
Right.
They was wanting man butt in Sodom.
Right. Well, I remember when Deke brought out that class, though, when he was saying how you would walk into the different cities, and as you entered into the city, there was a phallus at the gates of the cities, and they just had, phalluses, which for those that don't know, were penises. They just had penises everywhere.
Literally.
The hell is this?
And
everywhere.
That's probably where the Ookie Cookie came from.
Yeah.
This guy.
The Ookie Cookie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Ookie Cookie.
Right.
Feverishly self-stimulating.
Right.
So we're gonna get into it. Y'all just have a strong stomach. Y'all gonna be all right though. But we're gonna finish this next week, Lord's will.
All praise.
Life lasts. All right. Anything else, officers?
Revelation 2:26, real quick.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
So no matter what all the military might that they have, Christ said he's going to give us the power, read.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
With a rod of iron. Go ahead.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
So we're going to break these. Long as we keep the commandments and the faith in Christ, we're going to take the kingdom.
That's right. Boy, we're not asking for it. We don't got to be creative and inventive and all this other. Listen, man, we taking it. We taking it. All right. Hey, real quick, just because I want to. Do 1,000 times 1,000. Because it says in Daniel 7 and 10, it says 1,000 thousands.
1,000 times 1,000.
And then it says 10,000 times. Do 10,000 times 10,000.
10,000 times 10,000. All right, I got you. 100 million.
100 million. When y'all get a chance on your own, just read Daniel 7 and 10.
Right.
What was the number?
100 million.
100 million angels around the throne. That's a light number. That's a light number. Remember, the scripture says he would invade them with his troops.
Right.
Y'all don't even know. I have not seen, ear has not heard. We don't listen. All right, because I go into a tangent. Lord's will be back next week. Make sure y'all subscribe. IUIC Dallas, Instagram Dallas IUIC, Facebook IUIC Dallas, TikTok IUIC Dallas, YouTube at IUIC Dallas. Lord's will be back next week. Y'all are tuned in the scripts.
Reloaded. Damn, living out the pig, going ham. Cooking coke, cut it if you can. No hope, rolling with the plan. White man dream, that's a scam. And all we do is follow master. All we do is follow pastors, led to the slaughter. We need the Father, damn.
What they fight for? Tell me what they fight for. All money and drugs, that's what it was. That's what you died for. Cook it up in the kitchen, life sentence. That's what you striving for. You trap. Come get your fix, get your licks. Cause this White House was built with bricks to sell your soul, you get that gold, you get that dope, you get them kicks, they tell you whatever.